We have reached a pivotal moment with silver as prices have reached a record high in nominal dollars. I'll explain the first move in the adjustment to the new silver market in this video as we explore. Agility is a key principle to understand in this modern silver market from which we find ourselves apart. It is a very complex market, there's no question about it. And what we have seen in 2025 has upended most of the traditional thought with regards to silver stacking. I'm encouraging my viewers to hang on and hold tight through this time because there's a lot of things that have occurred, even though the prices have reached record highs measured in nominal dollars. That has really discouraged a lot of stackers. And likely, the news I'm about to bring you now could help bring prices back in line as well in terms of retail prices, not only the prices you pay whenever you go to buy your silver, but the prices you get when you go to sell your silver. Summit Metals knows this all too well. They will buy your silver from you as well as sell it, and they're a great company, one of the fastest growing bullion dealers out there. I'll post a link in the description below where you can check them out and you can experience their great customer service for yourself. But this story here is from Fox Business, who had exclusive, and I'm going to post a link to this article in the description below because the video is worth a watch. There is a newly opened silver mint outside of Dallas, Texas, that is turning raw material into investment-grade bars as prices approach record highs, reflecting renewed investor appetite for tangible assets amid inflation and geopolitical tensions, according to Fox Business correspondent Lydia Hu. And of course, when you think about a new mint, you're thinking, well, this is interesting. We do see mints open up from time to time. That's nothing unusual, but this is a little different this time. Hu reported the details on Varney and Company and in a Fox Business segment from the Dallas area mint. Silver eased to about $48 an ounce after spiking between $51 and $53. In fact, it did get as high as $54.50 briefly before pulling back, which is, and they say here, slightly below record highs, but actually it did surpass the record high in nominal dollars. Now, when adjusted for inflation, when you look at it compared to 2011, it would be $73 an ounce. In fact, I did a video earlier today. I'm going to post a link to it at the end screen here that I hope you will check out, comparing 2011 to 2025 and the differences and similarities between the two bull runs. I think it's important to understand what happened in both times so that you can have a better understanding of why silver prices have moved the way they have. At the Dallas facility, technicians melt incoming material, remove impurities, and quench the liquid metal in a large vat to create pure silver grain. Robotic arms feed the grain into molds, and then an oven heats it to about 1200 degrees Celsius, which is about 2190 degrees, to form bars. That's Fahrenheit. And of course, it's above the melting, right around above the melting point of silver to get it down and to flow very smoothly. A start-to-finish process built for speed as orders surge. That's the key here, folks. We're seeing a refinery, essentially, what's happening, removing impurities. And this is from Dillon Gage, by the way, one of the country's largest refiners, by the way. They heat that silver up, and they take it and turn it right into bars. It's a turnkey operation. And this process underscores strong investor demand for physical silver, with sales of minted bars and coins rising sharply this year, according to Hu's reporting. And, that's another thing, too, especially with constitutional silver and silverware, that stuff needs to be refined. And this new mint, operated by Dillon Gage, will be able to do it. So it underscores the strong demand that we're seeing out there. Safe haven buying has accelerated as investors weigh global economic jitters and concerns about the dollar strength. Bank of America's analysts, cited by Hu, say silver has room to move, but warn near-term volatility remains likely. Some analysts caution that high prices could slow retail demand if interest rates stay elevated. J.P. Morgan's metal team said in a note, lowering the demand for forecasts for aluminum, steel, and copper, warning the increasingly apparent loss in global demand momentum. will eventually drive further sustained falls in base metal prices. Now that's interesting that the overall metals team is saying that over JP Morgan. The Dallas Mint, which is operated by Dylan Gage, a Dallas area precious metals refinery firm, produced a limited run of custom bars for the Fox family of brands during whose visit. You'll be able to see that. It looks like they laser engraved those in the link below. Founded in 1976, Dylan Gage has been a cornerstone of the precious metals industry for nearly 50 years. Headquartered in Dallas, the company runs one of North America's most advanced trading and refining operations, offering refining, minting, and secure storage. Dylan Gage is certified, ISO certified, and recognized worldwide for its commitment to integrity and innovation in the bullion marketplace. With silver hovering near these record highs and customers undeterred by higher prices, capacity is king. And that is part of the shift that I've talked about recently in one of my videos in the silver market, where we saw a lot of selling and some buying, but more selling than buying, to shift to where it's about even and maybe a little bit more buying right now on the dip. And of course, when I caution people when they buy on the dip, understand this could be the very beginning of the dip. Of course, a 7% drop in one day is a big deal, no question about it. But we could see more of those. I caution you as you buy on a dip that it could fall even further. But dollar cost averaging is really what it's about when stacking silver, and long-term holding is your friend. There's no question about that. And so refineries, especially when you go to sell your silver and you're finding you're getting a whole lot less for it than what you had anticipated, especially with regards to spot price, it can be frustrating. You want to be able to get somewhere around spot price for it, but honestly, some people don't understand completely how that works. Even in a normal market, there are plenty of shops who will give you less than spot for your silver, even for the pure stuff. And so it really just depends on the conditions of that local coin shop in particular. Everything is local. You hear that talk, and what one coin shop may see in a normal market is an influx of silver that they may not anticipate, and it's more of a risk for them to hold it, so they're going to pay you less for it. But those market conditions can vary from shop to shop. What we have witnessed in this bull run up for silver is a consistency in that shortage, or that glut of silver rather, that's been coming in, and they've been left in holding. And some of the refineries have said we cannot take any more silver, including the pure stuff, at least temporarily. But this operation, this new mint, will be able to take some of that. And it's adapting to the market. This adaptation is something that we need to do as silver stackers, and understand that sooner or later, things will come back into equilibrium, or at least a new normal, whatever that new normal may be. Does that mean the silver prices are going to go right back down to where they were before all of this madness began? Not necessarily. I still think there's a whole lot more room for silver to move in the upward direction, but it may take quite a long time now. In other words, things may get a bit boring in the silver market. And what this news is part of that shift to where it'll be able to handle some of this. And they built this facility anticipating what is going to be coming down the road. So I'm sure Dylan Gage would not have done a market analysis report to see the increased demand for silver. This is good and bad. It's good in that it's not going to create these shocks that we saw in the last few weeks in the silver market, because we'll be able to process some of that silver. But on the other hand, it is bad because that means we're not going to see massive spikes probably in premiums in one direction or the other. And of course, that can be good and bad depending on your point of view, if you're a buyer or seller. But I think overall it's a good thing, because it goes to show you that there's increased demand for silver. Silver is in need more than it's not, especially in industry. And the bullion market is something else. It fluctuates there, and we have to be agile with that, which is why I've been encouraging my viewers to stack constitutional silver. Constitutional silver has been selling at spot or below spot for quite a while now. It's a great way to get in. And I don't think it should be melted down just for the historic cause, and the fact that it will be recognized as money down the road for transactions, especially with what's going on in many states around the nation that have recognized silver and gold as money, as a hedge against inflation and for transactions. So that's pretty remarkable. And this is an era and an adaptation and an agility that we need to have, and we are witnessing right here with what's going on with Dylan Gage. I believe in holding the metal, but also believe in understanding the markets and being able to be flexible. When you hold silver in your possession and you don't have to sell it, you just ride it out. It's fascinating to learn about and see what's going on in the market, but there are times to participate and other times when not to participate. And certainly this is something that I have certainly learned over the years. I'm constantly learning what's going on in the market, and it's really fascinating to see how this is developing. But this latest news, I believe, is the first act and reaction to this big bull run that we're seeing. And likely this probably was in the planning stages before this radical move upward in silver's price, because the trends had been there long before this big rise in silver's price. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below. Hope you found this video informative, insightful, and educational. Would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for taking the time to watch, and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.